Before we move on from Man United, of course, Jadon Sancho has rejoined Dortmund. Thoughts on that? He said that he feels like he's at home. Do you guys think he's coming back to United in the summer with a new manager? Or do you think that is it? It's done, it's dusted, it's over for Jadon at Manchester United?
Maybe
it all depends.
Yeah, it depends on who the manager is and that. The problem that you've got is there's a lot of United fans out there, who feel that Sancho has massively disrespected the football club, and would they allow him back? Now, I think it's more complex than that. I think Ten Hag was absolutely in the wrong to call out Sancho like he did. And Sancho had every right, as does everybody, to defend himself. And that was the fault of Ten Hag. He handled it really badly. But there's a lot of United fans out there who don't like Sancho for what he's done. Sancho's a great football player, I see a lot of people disrespect him, saying he's average. I don't think he is. I think he's a top football player. He just needs to play in a team that plays the style of football that he wants to play, which I don't think was United at the time, although Ten Hag should be playing better football. But I don't know, this whole situation is hilarious. What, United are paying, 100 grand of his wages? I mean, that's just funny. Big W's for Dortmund, sold him for 70, 80 million quid, then getting back on a loan a couple of years later. I mean, they played a blinder. So another shocking sort of transfer from United. But this sort of sums up Man United since Fergie left, really. You know what I mean? Just spending money on players that don't really work. The whole situation is just a disaster. They're now sent him back to the club they bought him for on loan. They're paying some of his wages, falling out with the manager, and you've got a bit of a split in your fan base about what to do with the player. So who knows what's going to happen? I would say this about that. The answer to the question is this, Terry. Who knows what's going to happen with Manchester United? Because your club is just such up and down. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone in 6 months' time. So, I don't know. But if I was a United fan, I'd want him to come back because I think he's a mint player, personally.
I know what's happening Sunday. We're beating Tottenham. So I know that much what's happening at United. And now, listen, I think what you've said there about the deal is interesting because the fee that we're getting for him basically covers his wages. So it's all a little bit weird. They're paying us a fee, but we're still paying some of his wages. But when you actually add up what we're paying and what they're giving us, it works out that it's costing us nothing. It's a bit strange, really. I just don't see why we didn't do no fee and they covered his wages. It's all a bit weird, but I agree. Anything could happen. We have no idea where our manager's going to be. Sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
There's a small minority of United fans that, don't care about and don't want it to do well. But for me, you'd just be idiotic to think that, because I think it's in United fans' best interest that he does well for both reasons. He goes where he does well. You can come back. If you want to sell him, you kind of protect his value. And you can sell him for, I don't think you'll be able to sell him for what you bought him for, but it could be in and around that mark, maybe 10, 20 million less. And then if you don't sell him, he comes back. Let's be honest, the inevitable will happen. Ten Hag won't be United manager in the summer. You could get, for example, I'm not saying put your point, Potter. Let's say Ineos spoke about having a British core, etc. Let's say a Potter does come in. I feel like, one, he's a Potter player, and two, sometimes you just need that arm around you, because we know Ten Hag's man management is poor. If you sign a manager that has good man management, arm around Sancho, that look, block out the noise, forget about what the United fans are saying. You're my main man. You're gonna start. I put my confidence in you. Sometimes you need that. So either way, I think it's a win-win for United. Goes away, does well, you can sell him. Comes back, does well. Hopefully, he can transcend the form from Dortmund into the United team. But that's with another manager. But they're never always. Yeah.
Roms. The reality is what Ten Hag has done is given Jadon Sancho the best excuse about his Man U career ever by giving him this get out. Because I believe if Ten Hag didn't make that statement, Sancho would have hung himself anyway eventually, and there would be no doubts about him. Because hold on. Because I believe, I think LB, correct me if I'm wrong. I think when he was at City, he was a little bit disruptive, which is why they were comfortable in letting him go. He went to Dortmund, away from all the man them, got to focus on football, started putting up great numbers, came back to England, making 300 racks a week with the man them around again. And he just lost. He lost his way. Look, we saw in his play, he lost his way. And I just don't believe in England he's going to cope, because he doesn't know how to operate with his circle around him. But Man U have given him an excuse. He goes and bads up Dortmund. So then it looks like, it was Man U that wasn't right for him. Where reality is he would have hung himself anyway. So I don't see him coming back to Man United. What's the point?
Spot on, bro.
It's so interesting what you said there, Roms, because I want him to be a success for Man United's sake. If he does well for himself, I'm happy for him, because I don't really do I was angry with a lot of his performances for us ever before this situation with Ten Hag. I've called him out when he needed to be called out. I praised him when he needed to be praised. I'm not going to rewrite history. He hasn't been a good enough signing for us. That's the long and the short of it. But equally, that doesn't mean Ten Hag handled the situation well. My problem with this whole scenario, it's some people have rewritten his history at the club like he was banging and killing it for us and suddenly he was out the team. And then others are completely defending Ten Hag because Sancho wasn't great for us. And I don't think whether it's the best player in the team or the worst player, they should be treated with respect and properly, and we shouldn't be out in their dirty linen in public. It's an absolute disaster for Man United from the purchase right through till now because it hasn't worked, the way he's leaving. The very least I want him to do well because we'll be able to sell him and get a bit more money. Anyone wishing bad on him, if you believe your wishes are going to come true in this, all you're actually doing is damaging Man United further. And I want this to be best resolved for Man United. I'd like Sancho to go and do well, but I want the best result for Man United in everything that we do. And I do think fans have become a little bit lost in that. At my club especially, there is always an ideology for fans to get what they want rather than what's best for the football club. And I think that, listen, I'm not being funny, most of our managers and most of our players have that kind of attitude as well, like what's best for me as opposed to what's best for Manchester United. And we're very rarely galvanised. We will be galvanised this Sunday when we beat Tottenham. But outside of that, it's,
Terry, you know what's funny? The way you're going on, you wouldn't think you're normally the guy that says football goes, football goes.
Nah, Robs, let him land, man. Let him land.
Yeah,
let him land.
Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think we're going to smash him.
Hey, Terry, relax, man. Relax.
Smash him, bro.
Anyway,
ruining them.
score draw is what I want, anyway.
4-0. United.
Oh,
Hoyland hat-trick. Mickey van der Ven go home. And Ivan Drago, fuck off.
Terry, you're going to get Sean Millis. You're going to get Sean Millis saying, Hoyland, you done it. Hoyland.
Good day, Hoyland. Yeah, no, I'm glad Sancho's gone, though. For him, for us, for everybody. And we'll see. He might come back and you never know. Terry's drunk and I'm not drunk. It's cool.
Let me ask you a question, Terry. Yeah? Would you have him back? So, say he does well at Dortmund. Would you have him back, or do you think he's disrespected your football club to the point where you think that no, you don't want him back? Because there's a lot of United fans, Terry. I'm sure you've seen it in the chat and spoke to your mates. There's a lot of United fans that don't want him back, regardless of what he does at Dortmund. Where are you on this?
I'd have him back if it made the team better. I'd have him back if the team became better. If there's a genuine belief we're going to get the best out of him, I'd have him back. And I say that because look through the history of football. I remember when Man United fans and City fans united in Manchester and burnt Tevez shirts when he refused to come on the pitch. A few months later, when you guys looked like you were going to throw the league away to us, please come back, Tevez, please. He came back and he was influential and you guys pipping us. I mean, Aguero gets the fame for that league title, but if Tevez hadn't returned a few games earlier, could have been different. He's a bigger legend than Sancho will probably ever be. But people often talk about how people disrespect the club. George Best spent 2 weeks not training in a hotel room drunk with Miss Worlds instead of turning up to training. We still sing his name. So my point is there are certain things you can do to a club and you can still redeem yourself. If he comes back and starts scoring, starts assisting, starts helping us win, everything will be forgotten. Football fans, all of us on this panel and everyone, we are fickle beings. We are. We're as fickle as the day is long. So for me, I want the best outcome for my club. Do I think he'll deliver at Man United? No. I just think the pressure of it, the issues. But if someone said to me he's going to be a brilliant player for Man United, would you have him back? Yes, because I want my team to improve. And Man United winning is more. Again, he's done nothing sinister. Do you know what I'm saying? He hasn't done anything illegal. I'd have him back. Yeah, if he's going to score goals for us and win, yeah, I'd have him back. I've got no personal issue with Jadon Sancho whatsoever, in no way, shape, or form. I hated some of his performances, but I don't dislike the man. So, yeah, listen, the club has burnt and ruined so many players. From Anthony Martial to Paul Pogba to Rashford to Sancho. The club is accountable for that. There's too many victims for me to believe it's always the player that's the problem. It's always their attitude that's the problem. The club is a toxic cesspool. So if we can fix that and bring someone like Sancho back and get the best out of him, I'm all for it personally, yeah.
Okay.
There's only one Man United player currently not with the squad that I don't want back, and that's a very, very different conversation whatsoever that we're not having today.